the Sunken Diamond from the campus of Stanford University, not just for ACC baseball, but for Bay CC baseball. The latest renewal of one of the greatest rivalries in all of college sports continues on the baseball diamond. Stanford, the 14th ranked team in the country, versus the California Golden Bears. It's great to have you with us for game 2 of this series. Troy Clarity with Carson Trail alongside for this one. Carson, last night in game 1 of this series, Cal came out swinging, up 1-0 after 1, up 6-0 after 2. Stanford chipped away a little bit, kind of do a 6-3 game, but then after that, the Bears blew away the Cardinal, run-ruled Stanford on their own park, 13-3 the final last night. Could not picture a better start to this series for the California Golden Bears.
Yeah, that was really their game plan, exactly how they drew it up. Austin Turkington was fantastic yesterday, coming off what is now his 3rd consecutive Friday night victory. And California dominated the extra base hit tally. 3 home runs and I believe double-digit extra base hits on the night. And Stanford, all 9 of their hits singles. So hoping that they can find their power again for the rest of this series.
And this is a crucial game here today, because if Cal wins today, they win the series against a top 15 team, and oh, by the way, against their arch rival. Meanwhile, Stanford trying to get off the mat after being knocked down last night against the Cal Bears. Let us get you the batting order for the Bears, as they are the road team for this one. Leading off, Jaron Advincula. Alex Burge, he hit 2 home runs last night. He bats second. Cade Campbell in the 3 spot. Ryan Taman, the designated hitter, bats 4th. BJ Moutsouridis bats 5th. Jacob French bats 6th. Seth Gwynn in the 7th spot. Dominic Smaldino bats 8th. Carl Schmidt rounds out the Cal batting order. Your lefties are Advincula, Burge, and French. The head coach of the California Golden Bears is Mike New. Defensively for Stanford, as the Cardinal have taken the field in the outfield from left to right, Tatum Marsh, Charlie Bates, and Brady Reynolds around the horn. Trevor Haskins at 3rd. Timo Becerra at 2nd. Timo Becerra short, rather. Jimmy Nadai at 2nd. The Ichirushu, Rintaro Sasaki at 1st. Charlie Som behind the dish, and there you get a good look at Christian Lim, 5'11", 198, the sophomore out of Nashville, Tennessee, getting the start for the Cardinal today.
Yeah, Lim is coming off his best outing since opening day. 6 innings pitched against Duke, 1 earned run allowed, only 2 strikeouts, and 3 walks. So he was very effective in inducing soft contact this past weekend. He's been knocked around a little bit in the starts before that, has not made it past the 5th inning, save for last start and opening day. So this is a moment for Lim to really set a positive trend for himself in a kind of spot in the rotation where Stanford are looking for some more length.
Meanwhile, the Bears are looking to keep what they got going last night and continue that here again this afternoon against Stanford. Christian Lim on the season, a 2-2 record and a 5.70 ERA, about to make his 6th appearance and start of the year. 23 2/3 innings pitched, 20 hits, 15 runs, all of them earned, 17 strikeouts versus 13 walks. I'm sure that Thomas Eager and David Esker, the Stanford head coach, would like to see that strikeout-to-walk ratio improve just a little bit. Opposing batters hitting .235 against the sophomore, who has hit 8 batters and thrown 3 wild pitches this season. The youngsters said play ball, so that's what we have to do. One last bit of business finally conducted before we get rolling here at Sunken Diamond. 62 degrees, cloudy skies, a bit of a breeze. Looks like it's moving out to left for the most part. Might see some peaks of sun throughout the course of the afternoon, but it'll stay dry. That's the important thing. And by Tuesday, it's going to be 80 degrees here in the Bay Area. It will be hot. Speaking of hot, here's Jaron Advincula, the sophomore from Santa Ana, California, who continued a terrific streak of ball with his play yesterday. And he wraps that one right down the first base line for a foul ball. Stanford and Cal, away we go. Enjoy the game. Advincula, sophomore from Santa Ana, hitting .367, 2 home runs, and 13 RBI. Team high 9 doubles for the Bears. The 0-1 from Lim, off speeder, and tapped softly into foul ground, and Trevor Haskins can't quite catch up with it. Easy for me to say. Advincula now down in an 0-2 hole.
Advincula still a very tough at bat, even when down in the count. Lim, who recently has been a strong pitch-to-contact kind of guy, really going to have to fill up the zone, and Advincula will not be easy to put away.
Yeah, and we've seen Lim do that throughout the course of his young career. Had some fantastic moments as a freshman last season. 4-6 with a 4.32 ERA, had 11 strikeouts in a start against Creighton last year. Some struggles a little bit of late, but a bit of a bounce back last week for him as he got the win against Duke. Throwing 6 strong. The 0-2. Low and outside. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strike on Advincula, who had entered this series with 3 straight 3-hit games. He didn't get there last night, but not for a lack of trying. He still went 2 of 5 with a home run and 2 driven in. It's a fly ball to right. Reynolds backs up a few steps and makes the catch for out number 1. As tough of an out as Advincula is, this man last night was even tougher to get out. Here comes Alex Burge. Burge, a junior from Olathe, Kansas, just outside of Kansas City. He transferred from Wichita State. Burge with 2 home runs last night. Gives him a team-high 7 on the season. Also slugging a team-high 787. To go along with a 277 batting average. Looks at strike 1, called by home plate umpire Jose Esteras.
And I want to call attention to that first home run that Burge hit. He was in a 2-strike count against Matt Scott and took a low and away fastball at the bottom of the zone opposite field.
Might have been thinking about that home run there, swinging and miss, 0-2. Matt Scott, the Stanford starter yesterday, lasted just an inning and 2/3, giving up 6 runs, all earned. Then Reimers came on and threw 3 strong innings in relief, but the Stanford bullpen couldn't hold it from there. Got him looking. Called strike 3. Christian Lim gets Burge looking, and there are 2 gone here in the first.
That was the first time that Burge has been retired this series, and Lim having good feel for that breaking ball early in this outing.
Yeah, Burge 2 for 2 with a couple of walks overall last night. Brings up Cade Campbell, who's been the most consistent bat for Cal this season. Campbell, a junior from Lodi, 1 for 5 last night. Goes opposite field and foul. Campbell batting a team-high 404. Team-high 24 RBI, 6 home runs as well. Then working quickly and crossing up Cade Campbell, 0-2.
There's that change up from Lim. So much of his success not only depends on that breaking ball we saw in the prior at bat, but commanding both of his off-speed pitches.
Fouled off again. Lim threw 6 shutout innings against Cal State Fullerton on Feb 15th. That was game 2 of a doubleheader that day. And got the win against the Titans. Just a walk and 4 strikeouts along the way. No balls and 2 strikes to Cade Campbell. Tails well outside and stays outside. Count goes to 1-2. Campbell on Tuesday exploded against the St. Mary's Gales in a midweek affair in Moraga. 5 of 6 with 2 driven in. His batting average went up 32 points.
And one of his hits hit a base runner. So when you're hot, you're hot.
You're hitting everything, literally. This is on the ground to Becerra. And to throw the first in time for the out. 3 up and 3 down for the Bears in the top half of the first. It's Cal 0. And Stanford coming to bat. Let's take this moment to give you the Stanford batting order from top to bottom. It begins with Trevor Haskins, who's been terrific for much of the season. Brandon Larson bats second. He's the designated hitter. Rentaro Sasaki bats third. Charlie Salmon, the cleanup spot. Jimmy Nadai bats fifth. Brady Reynolds bats sixth. Timo Becerra batting seventh. Charlie Bates bats eighth. And Tatum Marsh rounds out the Stanford batting order. Your lefties are Larson, Sasaki, Reynolds, and Bates. The head coach of Stanford baseball is the Clark and Elizabeth Nelson director of baseball, David Esker. Bears have taken the field defensively in the outfield from left to right. Carl Schmidt, Seth Gwynn, and Jacob French around the horn. Kate Campbell at third, PJ Moutsouridis at short, Jaron Advincula at second, Dominic Smaldino at first, Alex Burge at behind the plate, and on the mound for the Bears is Gavin Eddy, a redshirt freshman from Claremont, California.
Yeah, Eddie in his redshirt freshman campaign did not play at all last year, and so far he has been very consistent, a 1.52 earned run average, 1 win, 1 loss, making his 6th start of the season. Through 23 and 2/3 innings pitched, 15 strikeouts to 14 walks. So more of a pitch-to-contact guy and, perhaps liable to get a little bit out of the strike zone on occasion. That said, his recent work has been very solid. Against Virginia, he threw 5 innings, allowing 2 earned runs, with a couple of walks and a home run allowed.
Yeah, he's been good for about 4 to 5 innings every outing so far for Mike New and the Cal coaching brain trust. And opposing batters hitting just 122 against the youngster from Southern California. As we take a closer look at Gavin Eddy, second team All-League as a high school junior, and he's in a big spot. And this is an important game for many different reasons, but for Cal, keep in mind here, this is the 3rd ACC series for both of these teams. On Friday night, so far, Cal 3-0. On Saturday and Sunday, a combined 0-4. They've done well at the start of ACC series so far. They need to find ways to keep that momentum going into the weekend.
Yeah, and they nearly had the series victory over Virginia this past weekend at Stu Gordon Stadium. They took a 7-2 lead into the 9th before allowing an 8 spot. So Eddie, again, threw very well in his most recent appearance, and he certainly gave his team a chance to win. It's just maintaining that momentum toward the late innings as well on the pitching side of things.
Cal's used 17 different pitchers this year. That's just bonkers. Only needed one last night as Austin Turkington was supremely effective going the distance for the Bears on Friday evening. Trevor Haskins will try to get it going for the Cardinal. The junior from San Jose Valley Christian High School. You'll hear that high school represented a few times on both rosters here today. High chopper to third. Campbell whips it over to first in time for the out. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Gavin Eddy, retiring Trevor Haskins, who's tied for the team lead with 6 home runs for Stanford.
Yeah, Haskins being aggressive again early in the game. An atypical 0-for-4 yesterday with some hard contact, but Haskins going down quietly there. Brings up Brandon Larson, junior from Rockland, California, the transfer from UC San Diego. Pumps that one right down the middle on Larson, who's slashing .354, .396, .521 with 2 home runs and 11 RBI. Eddie tries a curve that starts outside and stays outside, 1-1. Larson was all Big West second team a couple years ago during his days with the Tritons. Tritons had some success on the basketball floor, I'm told. The men winning the Big West Championship and making it to the NCAA tournament earlier this week. Bowed out in the first round, but those guys are going to be legends on that campus for a long time. 2-2 the count now to Larson. Pretty good eye here in this at-bat to even the count. Larson is a guy who's walked 1 time compared to 12 strikeouts through the season so far. So he's got certainly the eye for the strike zone. He just hasn't displayed it as often as usual.
Just gets a piece of it and stays alive. Sunken dime in the scene, 335 down the lines, 375 to the alleys, and 400 to straightaway center. Outfield fence is 8 feet high, with plenty of foul room, 70 feet from home plate to the back wall. I just learned that last week. The 2-2. Clapped loudly and into right field for a base hit. Shift was on, but Larson just muscled that one through.
And he hit that ball very hard. One of the reasons why Stanford maybe didn't display as much power as usual in the defeat yesterday. Not having a single extra base hit. When you try to shorten up and hit a ball against the Shift, a lot of times that handicaps your ability to go into the alleyways and even over the wall. So that time, the Shift, no problem for Larson, just getting the barrel to it, hitting it as hard as he could. That was the approach that was successful yesterday for the man coming up to bat.
As Rentaro Sasaki steps to the plate, 3 for 4 with 3 singles. One of them drove in a run. Curveball floats right down the middle from Eddie for a called strike one. Sasaki is now the team leader in batting average at .359. Team high 23 RBI, 3 home runs that all came last weekend during the series against Duke. No balls and 1 strike to Sasaki. And grabbed by Small Dino at first, but foul. Count now 0-2. Sasaki, a lot of eyes, of course, on this young man. From Japan, 140 home runs in his high school career, a Japanese high school record. His dad, one of the great coaches on the high school level in Japan. And here's Rentaro making a name for himself on the American collegiate level. Popped straight up, could be playable. Burge trying to find it. And does, 2 away. Well, Alex Burge has done his best work so far in this series at the plate. And we mentioned 70 feet worth of foul room behind home plate. That kind of came into play there on that sequence.
Yeah, much different from Stu Gordon Stadium. Burge covering a lot of ground to flag that one down. And you mentioned this a little bit, but looking right up into the white cloud covering. Not an easy play.
It's barely 70 feet to left over in Berkeley. Charlie Som, the batter, the senior from Thousand Oaks. Connects on this one, sending it to center. Coming up is Seth Gwynn, and it drops in front of him for a base hit. So Som extends the inning on the first pitch that he sees. And brings up Jimmy Nadai.
And that one sounded a bit louder off the bat, sort of caught it right off the end, and able to float that one right between 2 fielders. Able to keep this inning alive. More singles for Stanford to start off this game.
Brings up Jimmy Nadai. Nadai slashing .284, .337, .500. 4 home runs and 16 RBI. The junior from Sydney, Australia, mate. Breaking ball tails outside for ball 1. That's the first batter that Eddie has faced so far that he has not thrown a first pitch strike to. Nadai 1 for 3 with an RBI last night. Nicks that one back to the screen. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cal as a pitching staff came into this series with a staff ERA of 4.32. That's 9th in the 16-team ACC. Mike New, of course, was David Esker's pitching coach when Esker was the head coach at Cal. Swing and a miss there. Nadai crossed up on that offering from Eddie. 1-2. Two on and 2 out. Burge setting up on the outside corner of the plate. And Nadai golfs this one down the left field line, but travels into the visitors' bullpen, so we'll do it again.
Nadai's hit yesterday came after the man before him struck out with the man at third in less than 2 outs. So Nadai, a good situational hitter, picked up his teammate then. Let's see if he can do the same for his team now.
He also got fooled on a screwball from Austin Turkington last night. Top half of the second, or bottom half of the second inning after Cal had gone up 6-0. The 1-2 pitch. Got him. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Card lead 2 on base. And we're scoreless through one. Cal and Stanford move into the second in just a moment on ACC Network Extra. Start of the second inning here at Stanford. The Cardinal and the Bears. It's always special and always great when Stanford and Cal meet, no matter the occasion. Right now, we're in baseball mode. Cal took game one last night, 13-3 in run rule fashion, knocked out the Cardinal in 7 innings of work. Cal trying to take the series outright today. Stanford hoping for a different result, with Ryan Taman squaring off against Christian Lim. Lim deals the first pitch down low for ball one. Taman, a sophomore from Grover Beach, California, went 3 for 5 and drove in 1 last night. Swing and a miss there. Taman hitting .323, 2 home runs and 8 RBI. Hit to center, dropping in front of Bates, who loses balance and loses it again as the ball gets by him. Taman heading for third and safe there. Charlie Bates stumbled on his way as the ball dropped in front of him, and then he stumbled again as the ball went by him. It is a triple for Taman.
And Bates landed on his left wrist, really grasping his left hand as John Erson goes out to have a checkup on him. That looked like a very uncomfortable play before he landed awkwardly the second time.
Well, Charlie Bates has been a fantastic freshman for Stanford this year. It made it hard for the coaching staff to leave him out of the mix based on his performances in the preseason leading up to the opener in mid-February. As they are looking at Bates's left hand, Charlie trying to work out the kinks a little bit. Bates will stay in.
Yeah, still shaking it as the training staff departed, too.
Brings up PJ Moutsouridis with Taman at third with the leadoff triple. Moutsouridis, a sophomore from Valley Christian. There's that school again, down in San Jose. Moutsouridis, first team All Pac-12 last year, hitting .267, 2 home runs and 14 RBI so far this year. Misses low from Lim, ball one. Cerritos had 8 multi-hit games entering the series. Still stuck on 8 after going 1 of 5 with a run scored last night. I'm sure that number will increase as the season goes along. 2 balls, no strikes. On the ground is short, booted by Becerra, and the Bears score. Taman comes across, and Cal strikes first once again in this series.
It looked like Becerra just took his eye off it there. Playing back, in theory, that should be an automatic throw of the first, but that was such a routine play that Becerra possibly had thoughts about getting the out at the plate. And he tried to multitask and do that. Sometimes it's easy to make those kinds of mistakes.
So E6 on the play brings up Jacob French. Tails outside, low and outside for ball 1 from Lim. Jacob French from Benicia, California, a sophomore who transferred from San Francisco State. French hitting .333 with 1 home run and 13 RBI on the season. Swings and misses here, 1-1. And French had an eventful day last night, 4 for 4, with 2 driven in. As the French would say, c'est incroyable. 1 ball, 1 strike. Just misses. A little bit of movement on that one. The count goes 2-1. Sun trying to peek out here at Sunken Diamond. The 2-1. On the ground, slow roller past Becerra. So the infield single by French. 2 on, nobody out for the Bears.
And that's how the 5-run second inning started last night. Just a couple of weakly hit balls. In this case, a sinking line drive, an E6. And now a ground ball single. 3 straight have reached against Lim, and all he's done is surrender soft contact.
Yep. Meanwhile, French 5 for 5 so far in this series. Bit of an equipment exchange from Haskins to Lim. I think Lim is making sure that his headset is working.
Yeah, no shortage of pitch comm problems the past couple of weeks.
Now, I feel like we saw this on Sunday of the series last week against Duke as well. Boy, you got headsets, you got the huge belt buckles now, you got the wristbands and all this other stuff. So much information suddenly available to the players on the field, coming from all kinds of sources. Well, the only Bear who did not record a base hit last night was Seth Gwynn. He's at the plate right now. Senior from Concord, California, transferred from Los Medanos College. Gwynn hitting .213 on the year. Shows bunt. Lays it down. It's a good one. Haskins charges, throws it over to first. Everybody else moves up 90 feet.
Yeah, Gwynn can fly, so that really was an excellent play by Haskins coming in and making a strong throw. Gwynn happy with the result as both runners advance for Smaldino, who had a double last night.
Still just 1 away. With Smaldino coming to the plate, the sophomore from Ladera Ranch, California. Smaldino hitting .213, 3 home runs, 13 RBI. Has walked 10 times this season. Second most on the team. Misses inside. Lim is yet to throw a first pitch strike to any batter that he has faced in this inning, unless you count Seth Gwynn, who dropped down the bunt on the first pitch that he saw. And I will. 1 ball, no strikes. Waits on that one, misses low, 2-0.
And many of Lim's misses have been around the zone, particularly in that first at-bat. Really barely missing the zone at all. But if you are going to miss, especially with that changeup, best that it's out of the zone.
Inside 3-0. When in danger of walking, the bases loaded. First base is open with Mutsaritas at third and French at second. The 3-0 pitch. And that goes over for a called strike one. Full count now.
There's that good changeup. Still getting a feel for it to right-handed batters, and that's what so much of his success depends on. The only one that's been hit moderately hard was that Taman triple, as it was ruled earlier this inning.
Payoff pitch, hit to right, and that drops down and bounces off of the wall. 1 run scores. Here comes French, 2-run score. Dominic Smaldino knocks in a couple, and the Bears are ahead 3-0.
That was a rocket out into the wide open spaces. And Smaldino's a fast runner. If he didn't hit it as hard, he might have had 3 bags. It took a couple of bounces right to Reynolds off the wall.
Yeah, fast guy, especially considering he's 6'6", 230. There's Carl Schmidt, redshirt freshman from Petaluma, transfer from Texas A&M. Schmidt hitting .313 with a home run and 11 RBI, and that one hits Schmidt square in the back. And that brings out Kathy Wolf, assistant coach in charge of pitching. Thomas Eager out to the mound from the dugout. No action as of right now in the Stanford pen.
Yeah, Stanford really hoping to get some length out of their left-hander. Matt Scott threw 1 2/3 last night. And this inning has not shaped up much better than Scott's last frame yesterday.
Yeah, Stanford used 6 pitchers all told last night. The bright spot by far was Ben Reimers, who delivered 3 solid shutout innings in relief. But then after that, Ryan Speckshock, Trevor Moore, Cohen Gomez, and Cassius Thomas came on and got what turned out to be the Bears' final out of the game. But Moore and Gomez in particular especially struggled. And that halted a streak of terrific pitching from the Stanford bullpen. Back up to the top of the Bears order we go. Jaron Advincula, who flew out to right to begin the game. High and tight. Jared had to bail out of there. Advincula out of Archbishop Mitty High School in San Jose. He's actually from Santa Clara, California. I might have said Santa Ana earlier. Breaking ball, starts outside, stays outside, 2-0. So let's see, Archbishop Mitty we've mentioned. Valley Christian we've mentioned. Who else do we need to mention out there? The 2-0. Floats it right down the middle, 2-1. How's St. Francis's baseball team?
They've been pretty good historically.
Okay.
We got Bellarmine covered yesterday with
Right,
Austin
yeah.
Turkington starting
right.
for Cal.
Yep. The 2-1 pitch. And right through the gap and into left field for a base hit. Smaldino hustles around and scores. The beat goes on for the Bears. 4-0 Cal. As Advincula has now driven in runs in 6 straight games.
And now let's see if anybody in the Stanford bullpen gets loose with some urgency. Alex Bird, despite the strikeout in his only at-bat of today, He had the best day of any Golden Bear yesterday, you could argue.
Yeah, lit up Stanford to the tune of 2 home runs and also walked a couple times as well. Burge homered twice and drove in 4 at Santa Clara back on March 2nd. Outside corner call. Burge, the transfer from Wichita State. Spent 3 years as a Shocker, and now he's a Golden Bear. Spin back, keeping Schmidt in close at second. That's where Schmidt is. Advincula is at first, to the right of your screen. He just drove in an RBI single. Line to Sasaki. The throw to second, and gets him there too. The 3-6 double play closes out the half inning, but just like last night, Bears doing big business in the top half of the second. Cal leading Stanford 4-0. Six, seven, 8 batters due up for the Cardinal as we move to the bottom of the second inning. And Cal with a 4-0 lead on Stanford. Troy Clarity, Carson Trail. Great to have you with us here on ACC Network Extra. Sun might not be out at this moment, but still a good day to be here at Sunken Diamond. Fans soaking in the scenery, if not the sunshine. Saw some members of the Stanford men's basketball team taken into game off to our left a few moments ago. They've still got work to do as they'll be hosting Kent State in the second round of the NIT tomorrow evening. Brady Reynolds leading things off for the Cardinal. Reynolds, a sophomore from Bakersfield, went 0 for 3 last night. Gaminetti kicks and deals and delivers a ball. Reynolds batting .348, 6 home runs, 18 RBI, has the team lead in total bases with 46, and is also slugging .697, which leads the Cardinal, and he's ahead in the count here, 2-0.
Yeah, Reynolds did a lot of work to unlock his power just ahead of this past summer. Really blossomed in the Northwoods League and put in a lot of work with Steve Rodriguez, the hitting coach.
That one floats right down the middle for called strike one. Always intriguing to hear what the guys do during the summer. Northwoods League, a lot of guys go to the Cape Cod League, the Western Collegiate League as well. Swing and a miss there, 2-2. And they always obviously gain great experiences as well in that kind of environment where it's nothing but baseball. And you get to have a little fun too, I'm sure. The 2-2 pitch. Tried back door and missed. Count full. Eddie Dielan, the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Reynolds swings through that, second strikeout of the afternoon for Gaminetti.
Yeah, now Eddie's established 3 different pitches. There's that fastball, which isn't all, it's not overpowering. Has that big curveball, drops almost 12-6, and then right there was kind of a cutter or hard slider.
Giving the Stanford batters a bit more to think about as Timo Becerra steps to the plate. Inside for a ball 1 to Becerra, who's hitting .358 with no home runs and 14 RBI on the season. Senior from Clovis, California, out Fresno way. Buchanan High School, same high school as one Brock Jones, who did some things of note in his Cardinal career. Fouled off the screen that separates the right field grassy knoll from the field of play, 1-1. Brock Jones was certainly a lot of fun to watch. Part of the nucleus that brought Stanford back to the College World Series. Stanford ended up making back-to-back-to-back trips. But that streak interrupted last year. The 1-1. Over Eddie's head, charging Advincula. He throws on the move, 2 away. Advincula slick fielding. And that brings up Charlie Bates, a freshman from Palo Alto High School, right across the street. Bates hitting .254 on the season, has a team-high 3 triples. Eddie catches the outside corner here, strike 1. Bates stumbled trying to field a ball in center. That ended up being a triple by Ryan Taman, and needed a wrist looked at. But feeling okay enough to be able to pick up a bat and see if he can try to chip into Cal's 4-0 lead. Nick back to the screen, 1-2.
Bates swinging the bat a bit better than his .254 average suggests. 3 doubles, 3 triples, and plenty of power, enough for a possible first collegiate home run.
The 1-2 from Eddie. Now 2-2. Yeah, Bates just ripped Washington pitching a couple of weeks ago. 7 of 11 in that series. Scored 6 runs and had 2 of his 3 triples in that series. The other triple that he hit this season was his first career hit. That was at Fullerton on February 15th. Doesn't get the hit here as Gavin Eddy is in control. He's retired 4 in a row, and he has 3 strikeouts so far in the afternoon. Bears on top of the Cardinal, 4-0 after 2 complete on ACC Network Extra. Four nothing, Cal with the lead over Stanford as we move to the top of the 3rd inning. Great to have you with us here from Sunken Diamond. I'm Troy Clarity. He's Carson Trail. Carson on the call for the 3rd and the 4th.
Thank you, Troy. Cade Campbell leads things off for California. Right-handed batter, as you can see. Bounced out in his first at-bat. A 1-2-3 first for Christian Lim. And he rifles the first pitch he sees down the left field line. Foul ball into the Cal bullpen, 0-1. Lim, a quick and quiet first inning of work. The 2nd inning was anything but. Hard ground ball to 3rd. Haskins has it. A little bit of a high throw, but no problem for Sasaki, out number 1.
High, but still on target from Haskins. Sasaki did have to leave his feet, but not too much. Still able to apply the tag and hop on the bag.
Here's Ryan Taman now. The primary backup catcher last year for Cal, now transitioning to more of a starting role, although he's the DH today. Being aggressive, hammers one to right center field. Bates a long run. He gets there to make the catch. And allowed out number 2. Lim has gone 2 up, 2 down.
Had a couple of loud outs so far in this game. Balls that sounded like they were going to go a long way as they came off the bat, but somehow died harmlessly in center field. We've seen it a couple times already this afternoon.
2 outs, base is empty. Here's P.J. Moutsaritas, sophomore shortstop and a real staple of this Cal program. Now he takes a strike on the outside corner. Returning back for his sophomore year, got off to a blistering hot start in 2024 before slowly cooling down, eventually getting banged up toward the end of the year. He swings and misses. One of the best change-ups Lim has thrown today, and it's 0-2. Out of Archbishop Mitty High School, or rather Valley Christian High School, his double play partner Jaron Advincula went to Mitty. 1-2.
I feel like I've heard those schools before at some point during this show.
And it's really important because coming into coming into college, they knew who each other were before. As he strikes out swinging, and that retires the side. So Lim goes 1-2-3 for his second inning today. And a quick inning number 3 sends us to the bottom half with Tatum Marsh in the top of the Stanford lineup coming up on ACC Network Extra. Bottom 3 here at Sunken Diamond, Stanford trailing, and they have trailed for almost every inning of this series so far. Cal with the run rule victory yesterday, and Stanford trying to avoid their first series loss as members of the ACC. Cal, after taking each of their first game ones that they've played as members of the ACC, they are looking for their first series win. Tatum Marsh steps up and gets hit immediately at first, and Stanford have the leadoff man aboard for the first time today.
So one Valley Christian alum is now at first, with another Valley Christian alum striding to the plate. Marsh at first, Haskins now coming to the plate for the Cardinal.
Yeah, Bay Area powerhouse high schools well represented today. And Haskins has a lot of power in his own right, 6 home runs, 22 batted in so far. He takes up and away from Eddie, who's working from the stretch for the first time since the first inning, 1 ball and no strikes. Trevor Haskins in his senior year, lifetime .211 hitter against the Golden Bears. He takes on the outside corner, 1-1. We've seen this quite frequently from Cal, but if you see on your screen, 3 infielders to the left of the second base bag, with Eddie working away in the zone. A lot of times that might lend itself from just shortening up and taking one the other way. That one the other way, but high in the air. Advincula waves everybody off, 1 away. Here's Brandon Larson now. 2 for 4 yesterday and a single coming back in the first inning. Stanford, both hits today have been singles. All 9 hits last night, singles. So Cal so far has sapped the Cardinal of their power. Pitch out, nothing doing.
Stanford, a team that hit 29 home runs entering this series. Showing the propensity of being able to mash the ball at times throughout the course of the season. Not so far this weekend.
Larson takes inside. That nearly hits him. This team for Stanford, compared to prior seasons, less reliant on the long ball to score runs. But certainly with the power potential, Larson hit a grand slam earlier this year in Chapel Hill. And the pitch. Larson checks his swing, but it's a called strike anyway.
And Larson had 6 RBI that day, March 7th, in Chapel Hill.
The 2-1, and it's at the bottom of the zone. Larson standing 6'6", not happy with the past couple of calls from home plate umpire Jose Esteras. Marsh at first after being hit to start the inning. Eddie checks on him. Marsh safely dives back in. Stanford have not been doing a lot of running this year. Marsh 0 for 2 in stolen base attempts. They have 4 steals all season. And Bates, who was retired to end last inning, has 3 of them. That one's ripped out toward left center field. Schmidt angles to his left. He's got it. And Marsh heads back to first.
Well, here we go. If you're looking for a spark plug for Stanford, here comes A likely source, Rentaro Sasaki, popped up to the catcher in his first plate appearance, but by and large has been just about every bit as advertised at the plate and has shown just about everything in the toolbox. The full power, going the opposite way, and finally hitting home runs last week. And home runs in big spots last week against Duke, too.
Can cut the lead in half with one swing. And he takes a strike, a slider on the outside corner.
David Esker's been a huge fan of Sasaki's team approach and how he has just engulfed himself in the team culture.
And a lot of times you might see guys with his power try to always get that big swing, but he's just been a professional hitter so far.
Yep, 100%.
Looking very complete despite it only being his first full season of college baseball. Overshift on again for him. And the big curveball finds the bottom of the zone.
Eddie's unleashed a couple of terrific curves so far in this game. Some curve, we've seen a slider.
2 outs, man at first. That is Tatum Marsh. He gets a good jump. Rentaro pops one behind us. Sasaki trying to extend the inning. Charlie Somm, who had a single in the first, is on deck. Stanford have not had a hit since the first inning. A couple of singles and no runs. All 4 of Cal's hits came in the second. The 1-2. Marsh does not go, and it gets away. Rentaro got ruled for a swing. The throw to first is wide, but Smaldino dives to tag the bag. What a wild play that was. But Cal gets out number 3. So leadoff man aboard, but no one scores. Sasaki over there having words with either the home plate umpire Asteris or Ramon Amendoriz over there at third. Got ruled for a swing and ended up getting thrown out at first. Not happy with the result, but Stanford go quietly. We go to the 4th. California 4, Stanford nothing. When we come back on ACC Network Extra. Middle third of this game begins at Sunken Diamond. Cal trying to secure their first ACC series win. These two teams have matched up quite extensively over the time in the Pac-12, of course being so close to each other, being rivals and all that. But Cal has not won a conference series against Stanford since 2021. Starting things off, lefty. Here's Jacob French. French, a D2 transfer from San Francisco State, swings at the first pitch and rolls it foul. He came into college as a two-way player, but settled to be a super utility man. Yesterday, game 1 went 4 for 4 with a 2-run triple.
5 for 5 overall this series so far.
And yes, a late call from home plate umpire Jose Asteras. French adamant that that ball clipped his right elbow, and he goes to first. Second hit batsman issued by Lim, and that brings up Seth Gwynn.
That ball probably just kissed off of French's elbow.
Here's the speedy Seth Gwynn now, and that pulls Trevor Haskins in at third. And he shoots one down the left field line. A long run for Marsh, he can't get there. It hits off the wall. French turns the corner at second and ends up at third. A double for Seth Gwynn.
And Gwynn finally joining the hit party for the Bears, as he was the only Cal player who did not record a base hit last night, even though he still was able to drive one in on a sac fly RBI. Terrific swing, terrific contact, and just hitting them to where they aren't. It's been a study in contrast so far. Up and down innings for Lim to this point. 3 up, 3 down in the first. Gave up the 4 in the top of the second. And then top of the third, needed just 7 pitches to get through the Bears.
Now the man to land the haymaker back in the second, Dominic Smaldino. He takes up and away. Smaldino, a 2-run double back in the second inning. All 4 runs so far for Cal scored in that frame. And he swings and misses at the changeup.
Smaldino with a solo home run in the bottom of the 8th of a 5-3 win against Stanford in May 13th of last year.
Yeah, Smaldino last year, in a small sample size, really flashed the power. And he checks his swing on a pitch that just misses low. And no swing on appeal, says Christopher Gonzalez. Sasaki on the right side of the infield, playing about even with the baseline, as you can see. Stanford willing to trade a run for an out. High changeup gets a called strike. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. French at third, Gwynn at second. Back-to-back runners reaching for the Bears to start the 4th. Lynn pitching for the strikeout. Here it comes. Swinging a tapper to third. Haskins loses the handle and has a late throw to first, and it kicks away. That scores run number 2. Haskins had the out at home, lost the handle, and rushed the throw to first. And we'll have to see how this is scored in the end. Cal plates 2 more, and it's 6-0 Bears.
And I think the key word in that entire sequence is rushed. Haskins charging. May have tried to unleash it before he got a good grip on the ball to try to send it home to get the lead runner, and just couldn't do it. And then once that happened, rushed to throw over to first instead. So the whole thing just, Cal seems to be playing at a nice gear, at a nice pace, while Stanford trying to find a gear.
Carl Schmidt shoots one foul up toward the Stanford batting cages. That play was ruled an E5. So each of the 2 Cal rallies have had some Stanford help.
Double error. Fielding and a throwing error.
Yeah, so he got charged with 2.
Yep.
No balls, 2 strikes on Schmidt. Still nobody out in the inning, and Smaldino at first. Smaldino does not have a stolen base attempt this year, although he certainly possesses the speed. Top of the lineup to follow. The 0-2 pitch. Fastball high.
Well, and Stanford has been able to boast one of the best defenses in the ACC coming into this series. 980 fielding percentage, tied for first entering this weekend, but that's betrayed them here a bit as well this afternoon.
Got him. 3rd strikeout for Lim. That's the first out of the 4th inning.
It's a good pitch by Lim as that just tailed away and Schmidt couldn't resist it.
Now a very difficult man to set down on strikes, Jaron Advincula. Jaron Advincula really crouches down in the left-handed batter's box despite standing 5'11". And he takes a curveball for a strike, and he knows he might have had one to hit, nothing into one. Advincula, one of the most impressive summers for either team, played in the Cape Cod Baseball League and hit 400 for most of the summer. He checks his swing.
Yeah, Cottawick Kettleers stand up.
And Becerra, his double play partner from over the summer, is standing at shortstop.
Yeah.
So a couple of Cotuit Kettleers. Brentaro Sasaki, most likely heading out there this summer. And Advincula, I believe, let's see. Will the scoreboard change? No, he stepped out. Yesterday he got called for a pitch clock violation.
Yep.
Smaldino at first, infield playing for a pair. double air charge to Trevor Haskins on a softly hit ball to third. Advincula takes low. Som knocks it down, and Smaldino, despite his speed, stays at first.
Jaron had a 19-game hit streak for the Bears last year. Actually had more multi-hit games than strikeouts.
And that was in his freshman year.
Yeah. And it's not a small sample size either. He played 54 games.
Just a pure hitter. Plenty of speed, too. 3-1 the count. And he takes a strike. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Smaldino at first. Alex Burge is on deck, who's had a quiet day so far today, despite 2 home runs last night. Bounced off of Lim's glove. He recovers, and he has no play. So maybe Stanford's defensive execution could be better, but their luck has been hard to come by so far.
Well, and Lim made the right call there, just eating the ball, letting Advincula go ahead, take first base, instead of trying to rush things as Stanford had with Trevor Haskins earlier in this frame that caused a couple runs to score.
Here's Alex Burge now. 2 on, 1 out. Smaldino moves up to scoring position, and Advincula just as speedy right behind him. Lim just misses the bottom of the zone with the first pitch there, 1-0. Burge, another transfer. I mentioned that he was out of Wichita State. This class of transfers for Cal, 4 of their 9 position players in the starting lineup came from other institutions. In Burge's case, Wichita State. Called a strike, 1-1. Carl Schmidt, who struck out earlier this inning, and to this point is the inning's only out. He came over from Texas A&M after they had a coaching regime change. Seth Gwynn, before 2024, came over from junior college, and French, who's been the toughest out this weekend for Cal. There's a swing and a ground ball, foul. French came over from a Division II school, San Francisco State.
And that coaching regime change in College Station caused a bit of a kerfuffle, I understand.
I can't imagine why.
What, you can't just go to your rival school? It happens here all the time.
A ball, 2 strikes. Off the hands, out of play.
Yeah, Stanford Cal is a bit more of a respectful rivalry for the most part. Not quite so much between Texas and Texas A&M. A bit more animosity there, and that runs very, 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 very.
Hope it dries better this time. Take it for
All
a spin,
that was late exposed once again when Schlossnagle went from Texas A&M and donned the burnt orange.
In the dirt, Som knocks it down and keeps both runners at bay.
A lot of coaching cross-pollination between Stanford and Cal across many of the sports: football, men's basketball, women's basketball, baseball, with David Esker, who has coached at both places, taken both Stanford and Cal to Omaha.
And the 2-2. Hit sharply, but foul. Even the foul balls today for Cal have been hit hard.
Yep. Still no action in the Stanford bullpen, by the way. I don't think there has been any to this point in this game.
Cal so far has been anything but fooled. Certainly that was true for yesterday, run ruling Stanford in Game 1. Trying to win their first ACC series here in Game 2. Swing and a miss. There's the changeup, and Burge goes down on strikes for the second time this afternoon.
Much needed strikeout for Lim. In this situation, with the game threatening to spin out of control, he's still got a lot of work to do with the Bears' most consistent bat coming to the plate, and with 2 on, and with no reinforcements warming the bullpen right now. It's Lim's show for the moment.
Also to consider, Stanford with a long weekend and a short week. Wraparound game Monday against San Jose State, and then they go on the road to Charlottesville. First pitch strike to Cade Campbell. Cal hosted Virginia this past weekend and had them on the ropes, ready to take the series 2 games out of 3. But in game 2, with a late lead, their bullpen cannot hold it. A ball into strike on Campbell, who is hitless today.
I'm intrigued to hear what the itinerary is for Stanford heading out to UVA. Go to Dulles and make the drive down to Charlottesville from there. That's probably the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, the ACC lets you travel a lot more people, so these smaller regional jets, a little harder to fit everybody in. 2-1.
Of course, later on this year, Stanford will have to hop on the road and head out to Clemson, which is also not necessarily the easiest place to get to. Boston College and NC State, direct flights there, so they're okay on that in that scenario.
That's in there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So deuce is wild here in the 4th. Cal with 2 across, 2 on, 2 out, and a 2-2 count. Both runs scoring on a double E5. A double, a single, and a hit batsman, the rest of the traffic. Swinging a high fly ball to right. Reynolds measures it. Side retired. Stanford trying to get back in the game with the Bears scoring 2 more. We go to the bottom of the 4th on ACC Network Extra. Six 0 Cal. They are in command for the 2nd straight game. The Bears looking for their first ACC series win, coming off the run rule victory in 7 innings yesterday. And Charlie Somm trying to get things back on track for the Cardinal, who have not had a hit since the 1st inning.
Yeah, do not adjust your set, and make no mistake, this is not a fluke. Last night was not a fluke, and so far this afternoon, it has been the Bears taking advantage of Cardinal mistakes and taking advantage of their own opportunities.
Stanford have not done much to create their own luck. And Somm waves out strike 1.
That's a pretty wicked breaking ball there from Eddie, who has been steady. You knew that was coming at some point in the show.
And he's deserved that title throughout this season. Curveball misses down. A 152 earned run average entering today. And in every start he's gone at least 4 innings. Not a big strikeout guy usually, but 4 in 3 innings today. Somm fouls one off of Jose Esteras, the home plate umpire. A ball and 2 strikes to the Cardinal catcher.
Well, and the one thing that stood out to me about Eddie's numbers is the fact that opposing batters were only hitting 122 against him coming into today.
It's not often you see a pitch-to-contact guy like Eddie have so much success.
Yeah.
The 1-2 to Somm. He shoots one into left field. That drops in front of Schmidt. That'll be base hit number 3. And now Somm has 2 of Stanford's 3 knocks this afternoon.
Well, all that being said, this is now Eddie's 2nd trip through the order. And he usually goes about 4, maybe 5 innings or so. Tends to, on average, go about that far per outing. And here we are in the bottom of the 4th inning. It looks like might be some stirring happening in the Cal bullpen.
This is more activity that Cal have shown out in that bullpen than they have all of yesterday.
They didn't need it yesterday.
Nadai pops the first pitch into left field. Schmidt angles under it. Moving over toward the alleyway, he makes the catch battling the breeze. So Nadai quickly makes out number 1 here in the 4th. Here's Brady Reynolds now. 1 on, 1 out. Stanford down 6.
Furthest that Eddie has gone so far this year is 5 innings. He's done that. Check that, 5 1/3 against Santa Clara on March 1st. His highest pitch count, 93. That was at Duke. He went 4 1/3 against the Blue Devils.
Rolling right along here, throwing pitch number 50 to start this at bat to Brady Reynolds.
And that's a big number. 50, only in the bottom of the 4th inning. That's pretty efficient. You'll more often than not take that.
Yeah, you typically want to average about 15 pitches per inning, so that is, around 60 through the 4th inning. Reynolds takes an outside strike. It's 1-1. Reynolds, one of 4 Eddie strikeouts today, and 3 of them so far have been swinging. Swinging a flare out toward shallow right center, and that drops in, base hit. Charlie Somm moves up to second, still only 1 gone for Timo Becerra.
Yeah, kind of got jammed there a little bit as he was able to drive that one into center off of his fists. Cardinal trying to get some things going that, by and large, they have not been able to start up for much of this series.
Yeah, hard contact has been severely limited for Stanford so far. Austin Turkington and Gavin Eddy doing exceptional jobs of missing barrels.
They're still looking for their first extra base hit of this series, and they have 13 base hits so far.
Becerra takes a slider low. Good eye from the Cardinals shortstop.
Yeah, that didn't miss by much.
That earned a nod of approval from catcher Alex Burge. Somm at second, Reynolds at first, infield playing for 2. Swing and a miss. That's what those slow off-speed pitches will do for you. That fastball really plays up in its velocity. 1-1 on Becerra, who's a very good fastball hitter. The pitch. In the dirt, Somm thought about it, but he kicked up the third base line, so Burge able to get that easily.
Now, rolled in the wrong direction for Stanford, rolled in the right direction for Cal. Burge just had to look over to his left, and there was the ball. If he had to look behind him, that would have been trouble, and that would have been runners advancing, and maybe potentially scoring from second. I've seen that happen many times in this ballpark.
Charlie Somm fast for a catcher. Breaking ball upstairs, 3-1. One of the first 3-ball counts all day for Eddie.
By my count, his second.
Still very, very good. And that's ball 4. Stanford, their best chance today, have them loaded with only 1 gone. So here's Charlie Bates. Bases loaded for Stanford here in the 4th. Cal with 6 in the 2nd and 2 in the top of this inning have yet to hear an answer. Bates still very dangerous despite being without a hit today. He takes high, ball 1.
Somewhat surprised not even a visit from Chris Badishbaugh, the Cal pitching coach, at this juncture.
Still confident in the redshirt freshman, Eddie. Facing the true freshman, Charlie Bates. The 1-0. Swing and a foul off. That may have hit the home plate umpire, Asteris. Waves off the Stanford training staff, although he does take a walk around the circle of dirt surrounding home plate. The runners from 3rd to 1st, Somm, Reynolds, and Becerra. Couple singles and a walk here in the 4th. In the dirt.
It was blocked well by Burge.
Stanford trying to get on the board. They do not need a hit to score their first run. Bates rolls one to second. Advincula, there's one. And Mutsaritas loses the handle on the transfer. So Bates gets the run batted in, Reynolds moves up to third, and Becerra is retired for the second out of the inning. So Stanford into the run column at 6-1. They have an answer for that 2-run fourth inning. So far, Stanford have not been able to get out of their own way. 3 errors, 2 coming on 1 play in the top half of this frame. Now here's Tatum Marsh. He was hit by a pitch earlier today, so no official at bat. First offering. He takes a low strike, 0-1. Reynolds at third, Bates at first. A lot of speed on the pads for the Cardinal. Here's the 0-1. Marsh takes low to even the count.
Burge has done well, keeping balls in front of him, blocking a couple. Had to kind of backhand that one to make the catch. Not easy to do.
Eddie not liking that first sign from Burge. Step off throw to first. And Bates is back in. You could probably see Burge just pointing over at the first base bag, wanting a throw likely to just reset the pitch clock. Still with enough intent to keep Bates close. Marsh checks his swing and does not go. Bates at first. More steals than anyone else on the Cardinal team. 2 outs, men at the corners. Will take a hit or a Bears mistake to plate the Stanford second run. The pitch. Fouled off. Marsh had a good swing.
Yeah.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Stanford trying to get back into the game. They've trailed for all but 1 inning in this series, and that was the first inning of this one at 0-0. It's been all California so far this weekend as Stanford try to avoid dropping their first series in ACC play. 2-2 to Marsh. Bates runs, pitch swung on and missed. Gavin Eddy gets his 5th strikeout, and Stanford settle for just the 1 run to end the 4th inning. Troy Clardy takes the play-by-play back as we begin the top of the 5th inning here at Sunken Diamond. Cal with the 5-run lead on ACC Network Extra.
Sun peeking out here at Sunken Diamond as we begin the 5th inning. Troy Clardy and Carson Trail on ACC Network Extra, and the Bears leading the Cardinals 6-1. Kristen Lim still on the mound for the Cardinal, and Ryan Taman takes a hack at the first pitch that he sees and fouls it off. Taman with a triple to center that Charlie Bates stumbled twice trying to field, and Taman was able to stretch that into a triple. Later came around to score. Swing and a miss by Taman, who's down in the count 0-2. 73 pitches for Lim coming into this inning. And that one past Becerra's reach and into left for a base hit. Leadoff single for Taman.
Part of the reason why Taman's appearances today have been so impressive is that he's had some bad swings at the changeup to start at bats, but then he's adjusted. 2 straight hits have come on the second changeup he's seen in an at bat.
And this is another productive series for him as he had 6 base hits against Virginia last week. PJ Moutsaritas reached on an error in the second, struck out to end the top half of the third. Inside for ball 1 to PJ. A couple scores around ACC action today. Wake Forest evening up that series against Clemson. 12-10 final from upstate South Carolina. Wake, the 11th ranked team in the country. Clemson, number 7. As this one is chopped into left field for a base hit. Back-to-back singles for the Bears to begin the top half of the 5th.
And 2 balls that were just not hit all that hard. That one, a simple ground ball that Trevor Haskins, had he been playing at straightaway depth, may have had a double play ball.
But as it is, it's 2 on and nobody out. And Jacob French, who has not been retired so far in this series. 4 for 4 yesterday. Infield single in the 2nd, hit by a pitch, later came around to score in the 4th today. Has a chance to extend the damage for the Bears. Breaking ball on the inside corner called strike 1. So Wake and Clemson have that series knotted at 1 game apiece. The Tigers won 5-1. Jumped on Wake early, scoring 4 runs in the bottom half of the 1st last night. This one's hit to center field. Bates stumbles again, and then stumbles a 2nd time, and it rolls all the way to the wall. Taman scores easily. Mutsarina's coming around. He scores. French is safe at 3rd, and the Bears keep it moving. It's 8-1 Cal.
And that's the 2nd time that Bates has lost his footing on the turf out in center field. And unfortunately for him, the result's been the same both times.
Yeah, not a replay from that play from Taman that started the 2nd inning. So a triple by French. Drives in 2. Ironically enough, one of those runs, Taman, who hit that ball to center at the start of the 2nd inning, that ended up being a triple. Seth Gwynn doubled and later came around to score. And he sends a fly ball to left. Marsh backing up a couple steps, makes the grab. French comes across and scores. 9-0 Cal. 9-1 Cal. Check that.
And again, Gwynn. Another productive at-bat. Sacrifice bunt earlier today. And a sacrifice fly to drive in a run. Again, Cal talking about run rule territory halfway through this game.
Yep. Still got a couple innings to go, but Dominic Smaldino, 2-run double in the 2nd. Reached on a double error by Trevor Haskins in the 4th. And he drops down a base hit in right here in the 5th. Smaldino being congratulated at first as Thomas Eager is coming out of the dugout. And that will end the afternoon for Lim. As Eager takes the ball, turns to his bullpen, and Stanford will turn to its 2nd different pitcher this afternoon. More information on him in just a moment. Cal leading Stanford 9-1, top half of the 5th on ACC Network Extra. That's Sam Garwal on the mound for the Cardinal after Christian Lim goes 4 1/3. Garwal, a young man from San Diego, transferred to Stanford from Northwestern. He's a junior, and he was made the Big Ten freshman team a couple of years ago. Garwal about to make his 5th appearance of the year, an 0-0 record, an ERA of 12.15, 6 2/3 innings pitched, 9 hits, 9 runs, all earned, 6 walks, and 11 strikeouts, with opposing batters hitting .321 against Garwal.
And many of those numbers have been clouded by his last appearance against University of North Carolina, only going 1 2/3, and quite a lot of loud contact coming in what was a run-ruled defeat for the Cardinal on the road.
And gave up 4 runs, all earned that day. Walked 3 as well. First pitch to Carl Schmidt is high for ball 1, as the sun is really starting to make an appearance here at Sunken Diamond, and it feels like the temperature's jumped up about 15 degrees in the last 5 minutes. 1 ball, no strikes with 1 on. Cal ahead 9-1. And Schmidt will face a 2-0 pitch momentarily. Garwal did not play last year due to injury. He did transfer from Northwestern after the 2023 season, so this is his 2nd season with Stanford. Fastball misses high, 3-0.
Garwal, trying to find the rhythm, comes right over the top with his left-handed release point. Sometimes a little bit hard to navigate just mechanically.
6'4", 238. Pumps that one right down palm drive, 3-1. Garwal made his Cardinal debut February 17th at Fullerton. That was the first game he'd pitched since May of 2023. Pop fly to right. Reynolds, a long way to go, circles under it and makes the catch. Two gone as we go back to the top of the order for the Bears. And Vicula coming to the plate.
Nice job of battling back in that at bat by Garwal. Gets some soft contact, which has been really elusive for the Cardinal this weekend so far.
And Vicula with a couple of singles today. Off the fist, traveling down the left field line, but caught by a member of the Cal baseball squad. Doesn't count for an out, just counts for a strike. Nothing in 1 to Vicula. Other score earlier today in ACC play, BC held off North Carolina 3-2. That final from Chestnut Hill. No balls in, 1 strike. That fastball misses somewhere. 1-1 now to count.
BC, one of a few teams toward the bottom of the ACC's projections. They've been very pesky, especially at home.
They have. Georgia Tech knocked off Notre Dame 9-5. Duke handling Virginia 13-2. Came in the bottom of the 7th inning. Runner at first is Smaldino, who singled. Up and out. All 3. Wake Forest did beat Clemson 12-10. That series is even. Fouled off again. Count full. Florida State and Miami just underway down into 3:05. And NC State beat Pitt 6-4.
Yeah, Miami took game 1 of that series yesterday against Florida State. So the Noles, one of the top teams in the ACC.
Yeah. Another rivalry series this week in ACC baseball.
Yeah, now they're playing to even the series.
It's a 2-2 pitch. And this is just a bit low, and now the count is full. Vicula, first team All-League at Archbishop Mitty High in San Jose. About to face the 3-2 pitch from Garwal. Stanford going. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Bears do plate 3 more and take a 9-1 lead to the bottom of the 5th on ACC Network Extra. Bottom of the 5th beginning here at Sunken Diamond, and the Bears leading the Cardinal 9-1 here on ACC Network Extra on what has become a sun-splashed afternoon at Stanford. Top of the order for Stanford here in the bottom of the 5th, beginning with Trevor Haskins, who's 0 for 2 today. Shows bunt, but it just angles foul for strike 1. Final line on Christian Lim, by the way. Goes 4 1/3 with 10 hits, 9 runs, 8 of them earned. No walks and 4 strikeouts in 82 pitches of work. Meanwhile, Gavin Eddy, now 4+, 67 pitches. Has given up just 1 run, struck out 5 and walked 1. Haskins takes this one up high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Trevor Haskins has gained an inch and 11 pounds from 2024. Looks at the bouncer, 2-1 the count. And Haskins has certainly played with more bulk, it seems, at the plate. Fantastic February, hit .415 with 5 home runs and 17 RBI in the month of February. ACC Player of the Week on February 24th. Crossed up on that breaking ball. A good slider there again from Eddie that we've seen from time to time, 2-2. In the air to right, French took a couple steps in, now resets and makes the catch for the first out.
Yeah, Haskins now 0 for 7 in this series so far. Not a lot of loud contact so far for the Cardinal third baseman either.
Brandon Larson 1 for 2 with a single in the first inning. Gavin just has not given Stanford much to work with. Game 3 of this series tomorrow afternoon, 1:05 p.m. first pitch. Joey Bolchko, the Stanford probable. The Cal probable is the ever-popular TBD.
Almost as popular as cash considerations in the major leagues.
Shift is on in the Cal infield for Larson, who sends this to center. Deep for Gwynn, staying in the park, shy of the track, 2 away.
And inconveniently before that at bat, the wind blowing to center field had died down. So goes Stanford's luck.
Well, here comes Rintaro Sasaki. Sasaki 0 for 2. Struck out swinging and was put out 2-3 on the play. That ended the third inning in his latest plate appearance. But he sends this one high and deep to right, and it is gone! Rintaro Sasaki, an absolute bomb to right. Nakunate Shimata. Solo shot for Sasaki makes it 9-2.
There's Stanford's first extra base hit of the weekend. A fly ball that just kept on carrying. A little tough to tell in the shadows if French came up with that ball. He leaped high over the wall. And he definitely had the reach to try to bring that in.
I wasn't sure it was going to leave the yard. I thought it was hit too high for it to leave. I should know better with Rintaro.
That's just kind of how he hits them.
Yeah?
There are some other left-handed batters who have come up through college. If you talk to former Stanford catcher Malcolm Moore, whose successor stands in.
That's Charlie Somm, who's 2 for 2.
Malcolm played with a couple of very talented left-handed batters, namely Jack Caglione, first-round draft pick by the Royals this past year. And for his home runs, you'd never know if they go because they never get more than 10 feet off the ground.
0-2, Somm down quickly in the hole.
And for Sasaki, it's the exact opposite. You never know if they're ever going to come down.
Eddie exhales and deals the 0-2. Got him. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Stanford with the home run by Sasaki, clawing a little bit closer, but still a lot of work to do. Cal still in control, 9-2 after 5 on ACC Network Extra. Defensive change for Stanford as we begin the 6th inning with Ethan Hott replacing Charlie Bates in center field. Announcer change here on ACC Network Extra as I, Troy Clarity, give way to Carson Trail for the 6th and the 7th.
Thanks, Troy. 7-run lead for Cal. Scored 4 in the 2nd, 2 in the 4th, and 3 in the 5th. Sam Garwal trying to keep the fire out after retiring the first 2 men he faced back in the 5th inning. He starts by facing Alex Burge, who's made all 3 outs of his weekend today. Yesterday went 2 for 2 with 2 homers and 2 walks. Part of a run rule finish for Cal that saw them take game 1 of this series. And here they are, dominating in game 2. Garwal working from the stretch. And Burge swings through the first pitch fastball, 0-1. It's Burge, Campbell, and Taman, the 2-3-4 hitters, due up for the Golden Bears. As you see, Trevor Haskins moved back at third. Burge, right on cue, squares to bunt and pulls back to take ball 1.
Ethan Hott in center now, replacing Charlie Bates, who may have dinged himself up a little bit trying to field a ball in center as he stumbled and landed hard and had to get one of his hands looked at in the process.
Check swing. And let's see. Called a strike, says the home plate umpire Jose Esteras. Called a swing. He pointed out in the general direction of the first base umpire Christopher Gonzalez, but he was just pointing at Burge. Garwal throws and misses in the dirt. Sam Garwal, the only left-hander out of Stanford's pen with innings this year. They are a very right-handed heavy cohort, and so far it's not been much of a problem. Stanford's bullpen yesterday, Ben Reimer's a right-hander, the bright spot of the weekend so far for the Cardinal. 2-2 to Burge, and he flies one down the left field line. This one's carrying Marsh back, and he runs out of room. It hits off the sidewall beyond the Cal bullpen.
And that one carried a bit further than I thought it might. Kind of hit a bit of a shift now, it seems like, with the sun now coming out and the wind dying down. Even though the wind was blowing out to left at the start of the game, we saw some hard hit balls that didn't go anywhere near as far as you thought they might based on the sound that the ball made coming off of the bat. But now we're seeing the ball kind of carry a bit more.
The ballpark's dimensions change their mind like the weather, and they often coincide. Burge takes high to fill the count. Cal up 7 here in the 6th inning. Stanford staring at their first ACC series loss in this rivalry's renewed edition. That misses wide, and Burge has walked for the 3rd time this series.
Well, the trend in this game has been this. When Cal has had the leadoff batter reach, they have scored in said inning. Happened in the 2nd, the 4th, and the 5th. Now it's happened in the 6th. Let's see if the trend continues.
Here's Cade Campbell, who entered this weekend as Cal's hottest hitter. And he pops the first pitch way up. Haskins gives way. Becerra runs out of room, and it's out of his grasp as he collides gently with the bullpen wall. That was a tough play.
Yeah.
And, you know, you'd almost, in some cases, rather have that than Becerra run full steam into the bullpen wall.
Yeah, and Becerra may have had a better angle on it, but he had further to go to get there. So I can see why he would have called off Haskins in that instance. But still had more ground to traverse than Haskins did.
1 on, none out. The man at first is Burge with Campbell the hitter. Garwal deals. Foul tip into the glove of Somm, strike 2. Cade Campbell. 11 multi-hit games, including 3 of his last 6. 1 hit yesterday in the run rule victory for Cal. That was a double. As the pitch is a foul off of Somm. That was a glancing blow, so no need for any extra time. Campbell, really the only major surprise in the Cal starting lineup. Started off so hot after not playing at all last year. He was the backup shortstop and just got beat out for the job. And now he pops this one up on the infield. Playable for just about everybody. Nadai makes the call and the catch.
Communication is key, but in many cases, execution is even better. You had 4 guys all chirping for the ball, but they eventually all gave way to Nadai. So that eventually ended up being a well-executed situation. 1 away.
Nadai was playing pretty close to straight up the middle. So that's the reason why a second baseman might have a beat on that play. First pitch to Ryan Taman is a called strike. Burge at first, 1 man out. Cal has not won an ACC series yet, but they have a chance to do so today. And with a commanding 7-run lead, they look like they're on track. A ball and a strike on Taman.
Wind looks like it's picked up within the last minute or so, blowing out to the left.
So Taman might have some help to his pull side. Here it comes. Off-speed pitch flops in 1-2. One of the things that's been most impressive about Taman today is his ability to adjust. Whether it's been an ugly swing or a pitch taken in a hittable location, he's been all over that pitch type next time it comes up. The 1-2 from Garwal. That's hammered to center field. Hot, the new center fielder watches it, and it is a home run! Number 3 on the year for Ryan Taman, his second extra base hit today. And Cal gets 2 runs back for the one they surrendered. It's 11-2.
Hit to the deepest part of Sunken Diamond. The ball just carried, caught the jet stream, and just headed right over the fence in center. The Bears this weekend have meant business.
Well, you were right, Troy. That trend has continued. Leadoff man reaches, he scores. First pitch to Mutsaritas is fouled off to the right.
Well, history doesn't repeat itself necessarily, but many times it rhymes.
Yes. So it goes for Stanford this weekend. Their only extra base hit was that solo shot from Sasaki a previous half inning ago. The 0-1 to the Cal shortstop is wide, not by much. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mutsaritas played with his present double play partner, Jared Advincula, briefly on the Cape this past year. 2-1. We talked about that sense of familiarity briefly during Mutsaritas' previous at-bat. But he and Advincula, playing up the middle, went to rival high schools, so they had encountered each other quite frequently. And that made chemistry all the easier.
And potential trash talk opportunities, too, based on how their respective schools have fared.
All brotherly love since. Uteritas only spent a few weeks out on Cape Cod, but he watched his teammate succeed, swinging a high drive to left. This one's carrying. The wind behind it. Marsh puts it away. 2 gone. Here in the 6th inning, 1 additional run for Cal puts us back in run rule territory. Cal has a chance, if things go their way, to throw 2 pitchers in 2 games.
How about that? Don't see that too often these days.
Jacob French in now. He has not been retired this game. And he has not been retired this weekend.
Nope.
4 for 4 yesterday. 2 for 2 with a hit by pitch today. He's scored 3 runs. And this series, he has tripled twice. The pitch. Shot down the right field line. This one goes way back, and it's one hop up against the wall.
Okay, so
Reynolds bobbles the carom and throws in, holding French at second base. So the extra base hit parade continues for the D2 transfer. And Seth Gwynn has an opportunity to extend this California lead to double digits.
Boy, have a weekend. Jacob French. Very, very possible that he could be landing on ACC Player of the Week ballots when they're emailed to me on Monday morning. This is just heavy stuff from French.
Anyway, I could get on that email list? I don't know if I qualify. Seth Gwynn digs in now. Probably the ACC's most underrated performer this week. 2 sacrifices today, 1 yesterday, and although he's only recorded 1 hit, a double earlier this game, he has been at the center of almost every Cal rally. And he pops one up. Nadai this time gives way to Becerra. The shortstop takes command, and this inning's over. Cal has scored in 3 straight innings. Nothing but crooked numbers for the Golden Bears so far as we go to the bottom of the 6th. 11-2, Bears on top. Jimmy Nadai starts things off against Eddie here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Cal up 9. And he takes a strike right at the bottom of the zone. Stanford, 5 hits today and 2 runs. Got their first extra base hit of this series with the solo shot from Sasaki an inning ago. And the pitch. Yes, he went.
Gavin Eddy, just the 2nd pitcher Cal has used so far this weekend on a team that has used 17 pitchers overall so far this season.
There is a very good chance that he will be out there for the 7th at the rate that he's thrown. He just threw pitch number 80 with a season high of 93. Swing and a miss. Nada goes down on 3 pitches.
Well, and you can't argue with the results he's getting either, right?
7 strikeouts, 1 walk. The only time he really had to sweat was in the 4th inning when Stanford loaded the bases only to plate just 1 run.
Yeah. Pitched terrifically, which I'm sure puts a smile on Mike New's face, the old pitching coach himself.
Here's Brady Reynolds now. He singled back in the 4th inning and is 1 for 2.
God.
And the pitch. Swings through a fastball. The stuff this weekend, both for Turkington and now for Eddie, has played so far up. And that is what having 3 distinct offerings and command of all 3 will do for you.
Yep.
There has been virtually no hard contact. I don't even think Rentaro got all of it on his solo home run. And when the ball misses the barrel, it's hard to produce anything offensively. 1-1 to Reynolds. 2-1.
Was particularly impressed when Turkington last night went off speed on Stanford. And the Cardinal just couldn't seem to quite catch up with it more often than not.
Eddie from the windup has evened the count.
Gavin's dad, Ryan, played football at the University of Oregon. I'm told that Oregon football is kind of a big deal up that way. I wouldn't know anymore.
Got him. Toss to first for the putout from Burge. And that is the 8th strikeout, 3rd in a row recorded by Eddie.
That's a terrific way to recover after the solo home run by Sasaki. Strike out the next 3 batters you face.
Now here's Timo Becerra. 0 for 1 officially with a walk. He was forced out on a fielder's choice that saw Stanford plate their first run. Base is empty, 2 men gone. And Becerra takes a strike on the inside corner.
Well, is it me or is Eddie getting stronger as the game goes along? Much like Turkington seemed to, especially once the lead got larger.
I think you can give both of them a lot of credit for attacking. Becerra rolls the next one to third. Campbell surrounds it, step and throw corner to corner in time. And Stanford goes 1-2-3. On to the 7th. Cal can enter run rule territory if they score again. It's 11-2 Golden Bears on the verge of taking this series. Carson Trail and Troy Clardy with you as we begin the top of the 7th at Sunken Diamond. Cassius Thomas, the new pitcher, who made his season debut yesterday for Stanford. Second appearance of the season in successive games in a similar role. Sort of mop-up duty, trying to get him some innings under his belt. After he really sort of got beat out for the other bullpen spots ahead of this season. He's a guy with great stuff, transferred from Duke. Features a sinker that'll get up into the mid-90s, plus a good slider. Very deceptive. And he faces Smaldino, Schmidt, and then the top of the Cal lineup. Smaldino, despite batting 8th, has not been retired today. He's had some of the best at-bats this weekend for the Bears.
Thomas struck out the only batter that he faced last night. That was Mutsuritas to finish out the top half of the 7th.
Another righty-righty matchup to start the 7th. Outside. 1-0.
Cassius Thomas, Sierra Canyon High School, down in L.A. They got a pretty good basketball team, I'm told.
One and 0.
Same thing I'll do.
Ouch. Third hit batsman of the game for Stanford pitching. And Smaldino quick to wear it. So Cal, for the 5th time this game, has had the leadoff man aboard. And Troy, as I mentioned previously, they have been very productive in the innings where that's happened.
Yep. 4 in the 2nd, 2 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th. That's when they have gotten the leadoff batter aboard. It's resulted in runs every single time so far in this game.
Thomas always capable of getting a ground ball with that sinker that he pours in for strike 1.
He's got a really good fastball, too. Sometimes you just don't quite know where it's headed. A lot of velocity behind Thomas's pitches.
Yeah, he's a guy who tends to work a little bit across his body. There's a fly ball along the right field side. Sasaki chases after it, and he runs out of room, sliding to sort of stop himself. 0-2. Smaldino at first after the leadoff hit by pitch.
Thomas appeared in 23 games last year, 29 innings. Had some high points towards the early portion of the season, and had some rough spots along the way, too.
All the stuff in the world. The problem has been consistency. Ground ball up the middle. Nadi's got it. Step on second. Throw to first. Got him. So Nadi responsible for the twin killing, and Thomas gets that ground ball he was pitching for. 2 gone.
Well, it's been overall a tough day for Stanford, certainly in the field. The 3 errors will indicate that, especially with 2 on the same play by Trevor Haskins. But got to keep at it. Nadi able to do it and get the 4-3 double play.
That empties the bases ahead of Jaron Advincula. 2 multi-hit games this series already. He bounces this one to short. Routine play for Becerra. And Advincula hustling up the line, but he's retired for the final out. Nice inning for Cassius Thomas, despite the hit batsman. A couple of ground ball outs and a double play. Time to stretch here at Sunken Diamond. 11-2, Cal with the lead when we come back. Seventh inning here at Sunken Diamond, coming off the stretch. Ethan Hott gets us started, making his first at-bat of the afternoon. He replaced Charlie Bates a short while back as a defensive replacement. It's been a rough game for Bates. The first pitch, and the dirt ball 1.
Defensive change for the Bears, by the way, as Ethan Kadama has come in to replace Carl Schmidt in left.
Yeah, Schmidt had to leg out a double play ground ball. And he left yesterday after a play that he had to run on sort of second to home on a foul ball. He was lifted from the game, and a similar result being replaced by Kadama. 1-1 on Hott. 2 home runs for the new center fielder, and he wraps one on the ground to short. Mutsaritas backhands and throws him out at first.
Fuck.
That's 5 straight retired by Gavin Eddy. Here's Tatum Marsh now. 0 for 1 with a hit by pitch coming in the 3rd inning. 5 hits for Stanford, 4 singles after not getting an extra base hit yesterday. Cal on the verge of taking the series, and the score in the 7th, or rather in the 8th, would put them in run rule territory. Marsh fouls the first pitch back, a high fastball, and Marsh has not looked unbalanced today against Eddy. He did strike out back in the 4th inning, but he's somebody who's been very composed despite it only being his freshman year. And he drives one down the left field line toward the corner, way back there, and foul with home run distance.
Just twisted foul and out of play. And Marsh now in an 0-2 hole. And once again, second straight day, Cal starting pitching, heading into the 7th.
Nothing but strikes. As Marsh pops this one off the right side, Smaldino's got speed. He runs out of room, and he collides hard with the padded wall. Quick to get back to his feet, though. We saw Sasaki slide in a similar situation, almost preventing himself from running into the chain link, or in this case, the padded wall.
Boy, a physically punishing 7th inning for Smaldino. Hit by a pitch in the top half, and he was running at top speed towards that wall. And thank goodness he was able to maybe slow up just enough to kind of lessen the impact he made on the wall over there.
And seeing that he's all right, glad to see the wall's okay, too. No balls, 2 strikes again. Great spot, says Alex Burge, on that low outside slider.
Yeah, and a good look by Tatum Marsh to hold off of it, too. And that was a gorgeous-looking pitch.
He pops another one foul. Marsh with his strikeout back in the 4th.
God
just continues to see the ball so incredibly well. 6 walks and 3 strikeouts entering today. And now he's got 4 strikeouts. So he's been see ball, hit ball all year so far. Checks his swing. Appeal to first? No. The freshmen have impressed this year for Stanford. Not just talking about Sasaki, who has been on fire with the bat.
And that's the thing. It hasn't been just Rentaro. It's been Marsh and Bates, too.
In the dirt. Bates left this game after he slipped and fell a couple of times in center field. Landed on his wrist one of the 2 times. Since removed from this game for Ethan Hott. The pitch to Marsh. He bounces one to Mutsaritas. Easy hop, easy play, 2 gone.
Season highs now for Gavinetti in innings pitched, 6 2/3, and in pitch count now with 99.
Here's Trevor Haskins now. Still not much action to speak of in the California bullpen. Haskins hitless this series. Looking for his first knock. Squared bunt in his last at-bat, ultimately ending in an F9. And he launches this one to left field. Way back there, Kodama on the warning track. It is gone. Seventh home run of the year for Haskins. Second solo shot of the game for Stanford, and they come a run closer. It's 11-3 California.
Just a meatball right down the middle from Haskins. He's able to jump all over it.
You kidding?
And send that one out of here and into the trees. A rare mistake for Gavinetti, whose 100th pitch of the day. Not one he's going to want to remember.
Still a memorable outing holistically for him, though, as he faces Larson, who's 1 for 3. Swing and a miss. Last time Eddie surrendered a home run in this game, he set down the next 6 straight with 3 strikeouts, hoping to rebound similarly against the Cardinal DH. That one misses just low to even the count. Eddie had only allowed 2 home runs entering today, the total which has since doubled with the solo shot from Haskins and one from Sasaki earlier this game. 1 and 2. Larson unhappy with himself that he offered at that pitch. And a chance to end this bottom of the 7th quietly. Cal up 8. 7 outs away or less from taking the series. Larson takes outside, 2 and 2. The run rule not in effect. Stanford with the solo shot chipping away. It's 10 runs after 7 innings. Here in the ACC, first time Stanford have had to deal with that. The pitch. This is low. So Larson's worked it full. Larson has a lengthy frame, but a really short swing. One of the reasons why he's been able to hang around in so many of these at-bats. Here's the payoff. And that's only his 2nd walk this year.
And just Eddie's 2nd walk this afternoon. There is action in the Cal bullpen. There's a right-hander warming up. From where my vantage point is here in the press box, a bit difficult to tell exactly whom it is because there's a light tower right in my way. These binoculars are good, but they're not that great. They can't see through objects.
Unfortunately for me, I can see around the light post. Sitting next to it, and I can see that is Cole Clark, junior right-handed pitcher who got warmed up yesterday but never came in the game. So Burge comes out to have a word with Turkington, as we'll see if, or rather with Eddie, Turkington was yesterday, as we'll see if he sticks around in this game. Couple of solo shots allowed, and now the walk to Larson ahead of Sasaki, whose home runs have come in bunches over the past week.
2 against Duke on Saturday. A go-ahead shot for his third in the series finale against the Blue Devils on Sunday. And 1 this afternoon.
Stanford's largest deficit they've come back from was 5 runs. But for Cal, no lead has been safe. As now here comes pitching coach Chris Bodishbach, who makes the changes. And let's see if he makes one here. Cal had a 5-run lead entering the 9th inning against Virginia in Game 2. Again, on the verge of taking the series. And let's see if they decide to make a move. Taking on whatever production comes in the innings that follow to be too little too late.
Well, as of right now, Gavin Eddy still with a terrific outing for the most part. 6 2/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, all earned to this point. You can't close the book on him just yet. 8 walks, or check that, 8 strikeouts and 2 walks. And he's going to come up to a well-deserved ovation from the Bears fans who were in the building.
So Eddie's day is done, and Cal makes their first pitching change of the weekend. We'll be back in just a moment. Cal still leading 11-3 here in the bottom of the 7th on ACC Network Extra. One across for the Cardinal in the bottom of the 7th, and Cal makes their first pitching change of the weekend. Cole Clark is the first reliever to appear here in Game 2 for the Golden Bears, standing 5'10" and 185 pounds out of Burbank, California. Looking at his season so far, through 17 innings, he has a respectable .424 earned run average.
Yeah, this will be his 6th appearance of the year. A 1-0 record. Does have 1 save to his credit. That came against Houston, where he struck out 6 on February the 22nd. Clark with 15 hits allowed, 9 runs, 8 of them earned. 15 strikeouts versus 6 walks. Opposing batters hitting .234 against the transfer from LA Valley College. Originally from Burbank.
Yeah, he went to Notre Dame High School, which has cranked out quite a few quality players over the years. Hunter Green, if you think back to when he was coming out of high school as a possible 2-way player. He was one of the guys, I believe, selected in 2020 out of Notre Dame High School. And they play some of the best competition that Southern California has to offer. And now he faces the best competition that Japan had to offer all of last year.
Even though Cal's ahead by 8, can you call this a high leverage situation?
I think that even though this game is close to being on ice for Cal, first pitch to Sasaki, swung on and missed, Stanford can still gather offensive momentum, which they have not had all series, and take that into tomorrow. So still an important at-bat, even though the numbers might not say it's high leverage. 0-1. The pitch. Swung on and missed. Larson at first, 2 men gone. Sasaki offering a 2 straight breaking balls, homered in his last at-bat.
Both those breaking balls landing down and in.
Let's see if the Cardinal first baseman can adjust. Overshift on for him. Here it comes. Fastball high. A Haskins solo home run earlier this inning. A Sasaki solo home run back in the 5th. And then a run scoring in the 4th for the Cardinal. That's all they've gotten so far. Softly hit to first. Easy hop for Smaldino. And the side is retired. So Clark sets down the first man he's faced as we go to the 8th. Troy Clarity back on play-by-play when we come back on ACC Network Extra. Cal leading 11-3 as we enter the top of the 8th inning. Cassius Thomas still on the mound for the Cardinal. And for Burge, Campbell, Taman, and beyond, with a play-by-play, Troy Clarity.
All right, thank you, Carson. 11 runs, 12 hits, no errors for Cal. 3 runs, 6 hits, 3 errors for Stanford. Bears have been on top really the entirety of this series. Looking to win this series outright if this result holds up today. Alex Burge stepping to the plate. He struck out twice, lined into a 3-6 double play, but walked and scored his last time up. Facing it, Cassius Thomas. He's working into his second inning. He deals a fastball outside to Burge for ball 1. Final line on Cal starter Gavin Eddy. 6 2/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 2 walks, and 8 strikeouts. Kind of ran out of gas just a little bit there towards the end of his outing. Inside out swing, fouled off. 1 ball and 1 strike to Burge. Burge from Olathe, Kansas, in the Kansas City metropolitan area. You want some good barbecue? That's a great spot to hit. A 1-1 pitch. Swings and fouls that back to the screen.
That's not fair. You know I'm easily distracted.
Yeah, they know what they're doing in that department. Football's also a pretty big deal there, I'm told, too. Especially in the NFL. Because their pro team has had some success over the last few years. Their quarterback is pretty decent, from what I hear. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Starts outside, stays outside, 2-2. Burge at just 159 for Wichita State last year. Two balls and 2 strikes. Fouled off. Nope. Went around. That's strike 3.
Yeah, that sounded like he got a piece of it, but in reality, he just got a piece of his leg. Not many times that we've seen Burge take a swing like that this weekend.
3 strikeouts for him this afternoon. Kate Campbell looking to reach for the first time today. So he's 0 for 4. Heads up.
There have been a couple like that from Thomas.
He'll uncork one every once in a while.
That's kind of also a product of not having too many innings under his belt this year. Really works across his body, and so if there are any fluctuations in his release point, that's where it goes. It goes in and outside.
1-0 to Campbell. Off the fist, slow roller, stays fair. 2 away.
And for every wild one like the pitch before, there's a swing like that.
Yeah, the bullpen's been very, very crowded for Stanford this year. And it's a good position for David Esker and Thomas Eager to be in. They're trying to decide who gets looks and who doesn't. And so far this season, up until this weekend, Cassius Thomas hadn't received any looks. But now pitching in his second game of the season in back-to-back days. Here's Ryan Taman. Fastball a bit high for ball 1. Taman, an eventful day for him. Tripled, came around to score in the second. Flew out to center in the third. Singled and scored in the 5th. 2-run home run in the 6th. And fouls that one off. Slicing foul off right field. 1-1. Taman began last season as Cal's starting designated hitter. He also backed up Caleb Lomavita, an All-American catcher for the Bears, who's now in the Washington Nationals organization. A 1-1. Opposite field, but right to Reynolds. And the side is retired. 2 innings in for Cassius Thomas and nothing across for the Bears during that tenure. However, Cal still has an 11-3 lead over Stanford. Bottom of the 8th coming up in just a moment. Folks still stretched out on the right field grassy knoll here at Sunken Diamond. Perfect day. It was 62 degrees here at the start. Still 62 degrees right now. Last check about 5 minutes or so ago. Bears fans loving the scoreboard right now as Cal's ahead 11-3, moving to the bottom of the 8th inning. The 4, 5, 6 batters due up for the Cardinal here. Charlie Som's 2 for 3 with a couple singles and scored Stanford's first run back in the 4th. Cole Clark winds and deals. Slider misses outside for ball 1. Clark in his most recent outing before today threw 3 scoreless against Virginia. 1 week ago today. Walked a couple, struck out a couple. Som facing a 2-0. Goes fishing for that one, 2-1. Apparently there are other sporting events happening today. If you had St. John's advancing in your NCAA men's basketball bracket, you're probably not in a good mood right now. A couple of bounces, stays fair, though throw whipped across to first. But nope, eventually called foul. Well, Campbell played that well, for the record. Won't count, but still.
Well, yeah, he was very happy with the play that he made, so understandably a little bit, disgruntled that was, in the end, ruled a foul ball.
One of the few things that hasn't quite gone Cal's way so far this weekend. St. John's, by the way, losing to Arkansas 75-66. That's a final from Providence. Bounces away, but no one on the base paths. Purdue took care of McNeese, 76-62, so the Cinderella story. Really, the only one left now is Drake, I believe. But that Cinderella story for the Cowboys is over. Payoff pitch to Charlie Som. Lasered and grabbed by Campbell. Campbell denied one terrific defensive play 2 pitches ago. Hangs in there and makes this one. High pointing the ball and making the grab. Jimmy Nadeye is 0 for 3. Can't connect on that cut. Nadeye has struck out twice so far this afternoon. Hit 2 home runs in the bottom of the 5th against Cal on April 27th of last year. One ball and 1 strike. Tails high and outside. 2-1 to count.
Probably not too many hitters happier to see someone else on the mound than Jimmy Nadeye.
Although I'm sure he has competition in that respect, but Nadeye sends this one deep to left center. Back, track, wall, and gone! And Jimmy Nadeye sends that one over the field in left. 11-4. Cal's lead cut to 7 on Nadeye's 5th home run of the year. You were saying, Carson?
I think happy might be a strong word given the scoreboard circumstances, but certainly something to take away for tomorrow's game if it comes to it.
Fair enough. 3rd home run for the Cardinal today. They've all been solo. Brady Reynolds looks the pitch low and inside for ball 1. Reynolds with a single in the 4th. He's 1 for 3. And that's kind of been part and parcel of what's kind of been bugging Stanford this week. As they've gotten a lot of singles, Their extra base hits so far today have all been, and really this weekend, have all been solo home runs. So no big hits for Stanford so far this weekend.
And they're a team that thrives when they land haymakers. They've scored 4 or more runs in an inning over a dozen times this year, and they're undefeated in games where they score runs in those kinds of bunches. So if you want to talk about limiting the damage, that has absolutely been a successful MO for California this weekend.
Clark tried the inside corner and missed, 2-2. It's the Bears that have been landing the body blows and the big punches this weekend. Cranked right to Campbell. Let's go over the first in time for the out. Campbell, the only infielder between second and third, and he really didn't have that far to go on that one.
Yeah, he's had a lot of work this inning. The ground ball that didn't count, the line drive, and another play right there, ranging to his backhand side. Really nice release on that ball. A lot of times if you're in that situation, you're tempted to wind up and throw it as hard as you can, but a lot of times more time efficient to just get rid of it.
The test.
Timo Becerra looks at the fastball high. Left-hander warming in the Cal bullpen as I wrap my head around the light pole. High strike called, 1-1 to Becerra, who walked in the 4th inning. Just misses. 2-1 to Becerra. Opposite field, base hit, Becerra. Another single, but right now Stanford will take it because they just need base runners.
And there's been more good contact this inning than there has been all game for the Cardinal. That one off the end of the bat, not Becerra's sharpest hit ball, but still keeps the line moving. All of a sudden you can, maybe get things within striking distance.
Ethan Hott came in the 6th inning as a defensive replacement. He's about to have his second plate appearance as he looks at strike one. Walking up to James Brown's paid the cost to be the boss. Not bad. I like that. I approve. Popped up. Playable. Backing up Advincula. And he makes the grab. And the inning is over. Nadai a solo shot, but that's all Stanford can get in the bottom half of the 8th. Cal still in control. 11-4 after 8. You're looking at Austin Steves, a 6'1", 196-pound freshman, a lefty out of Petaluma, California, who is making his collegiate debut for the Cardinal right here and now. Cal does have an 11-4 lead as we begin the 9th inning here on ACC Network Extra. David Esker and Thomas Eager, the head coach and the pitching coach respectively, looking a bit further down their bullpen for options. Turning to Cassius Thomas. Back-to-back days. Thomas, 2 scoreless innings, did hit 1 batter, but performed well. And now a chance to see what Austin Steves can do.
Here's a fun fact. Who was the last Stanford lefty to wear number 49? That was Drew Dowd a couple years ago. So he's got big shoes to fill. Also a lefty.
Yep.
The torch has been passed.
PJ Moutsouridis is the batter. First pitch misses just a bit high from Steves for ball 1. Moutsouridis reached on an error in the 2nd. Singled and scored in the 5th. Cranks this one to left center. Hot. Makes the grab. Hot coming on as a defensive replacement in the 6th for Charlie Bates. Well, here's Jacob French. French with a single in the second, a double in the sixth, and a 2-run triple in the fifth. He's just missing one thing. He goes opposite field here. It goes for strike one to French. Now add that to the fact that he was also hit by a pitch in the fourth, and to the fact that he was 4 for 4 last night. He's not been retired this weekend. In 8 previous plate appearances. He's down in the count 0-2 here. Opposite field, fouled off again. Jacob French has a birthday coming up on Monday, but he's been celebrating early all weekend. Fastball down low, got away from Steves there, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch from Austin Steves. Tries a curveball, and French goes down and gets that one. And it won't be a home run, but it will be French's 4th base hit of the day as he's still going and in with his 2nd triple of the day. Have a weekend, Jacob French. Holy smokes.
Boy, that guy's been impossible for Stanford to put away this weekend. 2 triples, a double today alone, plus a single. 3 triples in 2 games for French.
Incredible.
He's going to walk up to the Marseillaise next time he comes up.
Right. Fastball low and inside from Steves to Seth Gwynn, who doubled and scored in the 4th. That reminds me, I got to do my Duolingo French lesson today. Keep the streak going. Closing in on 650 days.
Not bad.
Fouled off. Gwynn was just in front of that one.
So I hate to bring this up, but the Duolingo owl is alive, correct?
I know there was a bit of controversy about that, a couple months ago or so?
I have no idea how long ago that was.
That hasn't been necessarily reflected on the app itself. Here's a cue shot down the first base line. Sasaki able to handle it on the move and shovel it to Steves for the out. French does score, so it's 12-4, but that was a terrific play, terrific concentration by Sasaki.
Yeah, that ball was hit up the line with a ton of English, so it hit the bag, popped right up to Sasaki, and then the wherewithal not to try to take it himself, but to underhand to Steve's covering.
Especially after the ball hit the bag and bounced up. Sasaki was able to hang in there and make the play. Smaldino, a 2-run double in the second. And this one is hit deep to center, back, track, wall, and gone. Dominic Smaldino's having himself a weekend. And the hit parade for the Bears can't stop, won't stop. 13-4 Cal.
And now he is the 3rd Golden Bear to be a leg shy of the cycle.
Today. Smaldino's 4th home run of the year. First pitch from Steves. It's a fastball that misses outside to Ethan Kodama, who came on as a defensive replacement, so this is his first plate appearance. Kodama, a redshirt freshman from West Hills. Looks at the next pitch outside. He's ahead in the count 2-0. Kodama hitting .400 on the season. No home runs and 3 RBI. He had a 2-run triple and scored on a throwing error against Nevada back on February the 14th. That 2-run triple was the first hit of his collegiate career. 3-0 the count to Kadama. Redshirted last season. High strike called, 3-1. 13 runs for the Bears in back-to-back games. It has been bombs away for Cal all weekend. As that one catches the outside corner for strike 2. And actually, it's been 13 runs in back-to-back games for the Bears, as they came into this series on the heels of a 13-7 win at St. Mary's on Tuesday. The Bears have found the secret sauce of scoring of late. And it might not quite be done yet as Kadama sends this one to Marsh, who's able to make the leaping grab and retire the side. 2 more across for the Bears. And Cal with a 13-4 lead over Stanford. Bottom of the 9th, straight ahead on ACC Network Extra. Bears 3 outs away from winning this series outright, but they still have some work to do. Cal leading Stanford 13-4. Begin the bottom of the 9th inning. Pinch hitters starting to come up for Stanford as we're in the 9 spot in the Stanford order. And Gabe Springer will come up and hit in Tatum Marsh's spot. Springer, a junior from Boulder, Colorado. First pitch, high strike called for strike 1. Springer on the season, looking for his first base hit, just 0 for 2 so far on the season, appearing in just his 3rd game of the year. And he's down quickly 0-2.
Yeah, Springer's put together some strong summers in succession, both with the Kalamazoo Growlers, for whom he just won a championship.
Got him. Strike 3. So Springer down on strikes. And here comes J.J. Moran. Moran, a freshman from San Diego. Got his first career hit against Xavier back on March the 2nd. A well-decorated player from the 619 area code. Or might be the 858. Swings and misses at the first pitch here. And David Esker, talking to him, says that J.J. Moran is going to be a star at Stanford. And it's not a question of if, but when. Meanwhile, Cole Clark throwing strikes here in the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, Moran's filled in occasionally at third base. Had his first collegiate start against North Carolina. And there are some plays that he makes and some swings and some pitches he's taken where you really see the potential of this kid. Plays very composed despite it only being his freshman season.
Swing and a miss. Bears are 1 out away. Comes down to Jake Sapien. He is pinch hitting for the designated hitter, Brandon Larson. Sapien, a senior from Atwater, California, out in the Valley. 0 for 3 so far this season, appearing in his 3rd game of the year. Inside, ball 1. Cole Clark trying to close it out for the Bears. After Gavin Eddy, terrific through 6 2/3 on the mound for Cal. Counting is out now, 1 ball and 1 strike to Sapien. Stanford down to its last strike. And a big win, in all likelihood, about to unfold for the Bears. The 1-2. Curveball. Got him looking. Strike 3 called, and that's your ball game. The Bears, in back-to-back games, lead wire to wire on the 14th ranked Stanford Cardinal, and they have taken the series here on the farm. The final score today, Cal 13, Stanford 4. This, by the way, is Cal's first win on either Saturday or Sunday in ACC play. Bears will try to go for the sweep tomorrow at 1 o'clock right here at Sunken Diamond. Pitching, hitting, defense. Bears putting it all together from top to bottom once again here today.
Yeah, and Stanford reminded after 2 straight series victories that there's still a lot of work to be done. There has typically been 1 to 2 series per season, even during their College World Series days, where Stanford would kind of get punched in the teeth a little bit. Right now, it's not as much about, the outcome of the past 2 games going forward. It's more about what will they do to adjust for Sunday's game and every game thereafter.
Meanwhile, for the Bears, after coming up short against Virginia last week, they have their rivals on the ropes and are feeling very good about themselves after these performances. Gavin Eddy, terrific, 6 2/3, striking out 8 along the way. He gets the win. Christian Lim struggled early, tried to battle throughout. He gets saddled with a loss, and he falls to 2-3 on the season. Jacob French, big time once again, 4 for 4 with a couple of triples, a double, and a single. He still has not been retired at all so far this weekend. Big hits as well by Dominic Smaldino, who homered. Ryan Taman with the 2-run home run and the triple as well. For Stanford, they were able to piece together 3 solo home runs. The first by Rentaro Sensaki for his 4th home run of the season. Trevor Haskins and Jimmy Natsai also went deep for the Cardinal as well. But too little, too late for Stanford. As it comes down to tomorrow's result, Bears trying to break out the brooms on the Cardinal. How about this? This has not been a fluke at all so far this weekend for Cal.
Yes, unquestionably, Cal has been the better team. I don't think there's anyone who's watched the games who would disagree. They've played fundamental baseball. They've gotten hits when they've mattered. They've come prepared. They have made loud contact, and the results have followed.
Time of today's game, 2 hours, 55 minutes. Just over 2,100 came to Sunken Diamond to watch this one unfold. Series finale tomorrow at 1 p.m. Joey Volchko will get the ball for Stanford. TBD will get the ball for Cal. Can the Bears sweep the Cardinal? Or can Stanford salvage one? That is what we will find out tomorrow afternoon. On behalf of our fantastic ACC Network Extra crew, my broadcast partner Carson Trail, I'm Troy Clarity. Thanks for joining us this afternoon from Stanford. Once again, the final score, Cal over Stanford, 13-4. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, and accomplish greatness.